we're online here. We're good? Okay. This is the regular Woodbridge Board of Finance monthly meeting for Thursday, November 20th, 2014. And the first item on the agenda is public comments, and seeing no one, we'll move on to the report of our Administrative Officer, Director of Finance. Tony.
Thank you, Matt. I want to give you a report through October 2014. We are pretty much on budget in a lot of our accounts. There is no currently a projected surplus or a deficit to report at this time. Most of our revenue budgets are coming close to budget this year and haven't seen many major variances at this point. So on revenues, we're doing very well. The expenditures, the waste management budget is a slight deficit, about $16,000 in tip fees, but we have a surplus in bulk disposal, so there's really no change there. Employee benefits, we have a shortfall of $19,000 in workers' compensation, primarily because our bids came in higher than anticipated, but we have an additional $25,000 heart and hypertension claim deficit. But we do have an experience in retiree health care, and so that offsets our deficit. And so there's really no change in benefits either. So far this year we're doing very well in a lot of our accounts.
Okay.
Nothing major to report. That's it.
Any questions for Tony? Status of the audit, Tony.
So we have they've completed their field work, and we have currently have a draft. We're working on getting a draft in the next couple of days of our audit. And once I get the draft from the auditors, then I can complete the statistical sections and the audit letter and the management's discussion and analysis. So 3 parts that I have to finish once the draft is in. And I hope to have that finished first or second week in December, usually roughly around then. We'll have it finished. Things went well. There were no findings this year. And so things going well.
Woodbridge Board of Ed financial report. I'm sure Sandy will have some remarks about it. So I'm going to share for your information. Just a reminder, capital budget meetings Tuesday, December 2nd and Thursday, December 4th. Keep them on your agenda.
We're working on your binders for that, and we should have those ready for tomorrow, you think? Yeah, we'll have those ready for tomorrow, so you can pick those, we can pick them up. We usually do them at the library. Yeah.
Starts at 6.
6, yep.
Second,
Yep.
I'm on the third and fourth. Wow.
We got a week. It's a busy week.
Did they should have?
No,
Not the third.
just
No, the third is Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
No, second, but I have to be at the Board of Selectmen. So I'm on board. I said, I have a triple header.
Are you sleeping over?
Nice.
Okay, item 3 is approval of the minutes of October 16th meeting. I'll move acceptance of the minutes of the October 16th meeting as well.
Tony
Excuse
has
me.
another.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's been some question about some of the water quality and animal control. I don't know if anyone's heard about this.
I think you told us something.
I mentioned it in one of our previous meetings. So we dug another well, and the results were worse than the original well. So we're currently trying to evaluate the quality of the water and any options that exist for us short of hooking up to the water supply, which is about $135,000 and is down the street. So we're trying to.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
It'd be cheaper to move the place someplace else.
Right. We're looking at every and all options available to us to remedy the problem.
Was it contaminated, the water?
It had high levels of sodium, sodium chloride, and the new well actually had some other contaminants in it also.
So the well that's currently there that they're using is not good.
Right.
So
So we have a treatment system to take care of that, which does most of the work. But the water quality itself was not great.
But in the meantime, the animals have bottled water.
Oh, that's good.
No.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, can't feed
My
us.
dog drinks anything. Street, bird bath.
You know, I think if we've gone politically correct beyond
These
magic.
animals come to Woodbridge expecting
Dogs have bottled
proper
water.
water.
Hey, great school system.
Woodbridge, right.
Animal control
This is Woodbridge. They come to really figure the animal control's gotta be top notch.
There were issues, there were legitimate issues with the water.
I surrender.
But it sounds funny when you say it.
It does,
I
but there
only
were
meant to
legitimate
say
issues.
that the animals are being taken care of appropriately
Good.
while the water issue is being resolved.
Right.
Are we aware that today there were
Filtering systems that could take waste water and convert it to drinking water. I mean, I'm saying is that,
Yeah, I
how
heard that
bad
on
is
the
this
news.
well?
Yeah, I heard that on the news.
I mean, the filtering system cannot make the water good enough for
Yeah,
the
We're working on it.
animals to
That's-
drink?
That's our
part of
goal.
consideration.
That's one of our
That's
goals.
right, that's.
That sounds like the
100 okay,
solution.
But that's not $135,000.
No, I was just sort of telling you what the extreme is
How much
there.
bottled water do we go through a week, Tony?
We get a very good price on that bottle of water, I assure you.
How was this discovered?
The dog hired a lawyer. One of the dogs hired a lawyer, David.
The water was cloudy and, the water was cloudy.
And I'm laughing and crying.
And there's also an issue with the water with respect to the infrastructure.
Right.
Right, it's very corrosive. So
Corrosive
there are
quality
really,
to a lot of
there are legitimate
infrastructure.
reasons,
Yeah,
both for the animals and the infrastructure.
yeah. That's it.
Okay. The minutes of October 16th, I will move acceptance of the minutes of the October 16th Woodbridge Board of Finance meeting as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, adjustments, corrections, anything of that sort?
Great job.
Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Proposed meeting dates? We don't need a motion on this, do we?
We actually do.
We do?
I mean, if you want to wait till December to vote on it.
No, we can. I'll make a motion that we accept the proposed meeting dates for 2015 as presented.
Second?
Any discussions?
Yeah, just want to make a comment. The
Okay.
April meeting. That's
April
what we
meeting.
want to talk about, right? Right. So the hearing, because of the schedule, is on the 27th. So normally, you have a meeting, usually it follows where the regular meeting's after the hearing, right? So you can make your final recommendations at that point.
Right.
So you can either have the regular meeting and then another meeting to make your recommendations after the public hearing, or you can have your regular meeting after the public hearing.
Our regular monthly meeting?
Yeah. Or you can have two meetings and just move the
Probably,
regular
somebody,
meeting.
we don't know how long the budget hearing is gonna be.
That's true. Yeah.
That's it.
So those are the two options.
And also, you don't know how high my blood pressure's gonna be after the budget hearing.
Can you just put in, just,
We could put in
you
both.
can't
I suppose
decide
we
at
could
the
put in
last
both.
minute, though.
Yeah, put in, why don't you put in,
And then you can always
You can
cancel one.
one.
Yeah.
Right.
If we don't need it, right.
Okay.
So it's.
so that'll be the 30th?
30,
Yeah, 30th.
April 30th.
Right, so we'll add April 30th.
At April 30th, and then
Then if we can work it, we'll see. Okay. So as,
Why wouldn't it be the 16th? Because that's the third.
because
what about after the
we
meeting?
want to have the
Okay.
meeting after the preliminary budget hearing.
So then I'll make a motion to accept the proposed meeting dates as corrected, adding the meeting of April 30th possibly to this list.
I will second that again.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ellen, first selectman's report.
Thank you. We've had a couple of really exciting and different events over the last couple of weeks. I hope some of you were there. Last week, we began our collaboration with Long Wharf Theater, and there was an event at the Center Gym. We had about 80 people. The artistic director was here, and the cast of an upcoming play by Steve Martin. And it was a terrific give and take. First of all, the actors were wonderful, as was Gordon Edelstein, in describing how they put the play together. They read scenes from the play, and there were wonderful questions from Woodbridge residents. And you could see the actors were really intrigued by the questions and enjoyed talking to each other. So that was one of 3 parts of this collaboration that we're doing right now. The next is on December 3rd. Of course, many of us can't go because of the Board of Selectmen meeting, but there'll be a book talk about the play, and the play is available in the library if people want to read it and go for the book talk. And then on December 11th is Woodbridge Night at Long Wharf. And if people want to buy tickets for the play, you go through the library, we get a 25% discount on the tickets, and there'll be a little reception before the play for Woodbridge residents. I understand that the tickets are going fast, not necessarily because it's Woodbridge Night, but if people are interested, it would be great to have a nice Woodbridge showing. And the play is very, very charming. It's Picasso and Einstein meeting at a young age at a cafe in Paris. So it's very charming. The other thing is we had the solar workshop this week, and we had over 100 people to hear about solar, what's available, what the rebates are, what the tax incentives are, and there's a terrific program. It's the part of our Woodbridge Energy Challenge. So there too, there's lots of information available on the website, or call Betsy Yagla if you want to know more about it. And they'll come out and do both a solar audit of your home as well as an energy audit altogether. Very, very interesting possibilities. And the other important upcoming event is December 16th at 7 o'clock. The Department of Transportation will be presenting their revised, smaller and shorter plan for the traffic congestion near exit 59 from the Merritt Parkway. December 16th, 7 o'clock at the Morrow Sheridan School at 191 Fountain Street. And there also, I encourage people to attend. We want DOT to understand what an important issue this is for us and keep them moving on it. And we've been working on it with New Haven. Mayor Harp and I have met with the commissioner, and the alders will be there from that neighborhood, so it would really help to have a good showing from Woodbridge. I'd also like to talk about the Country Club of Woodbridge and the RFP, the responses to the RFP, and where things stand right now. You may have heard at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, there was some controversy, particularly about the executive sessions that have been held. And I thought it would be important to explain to all of you here and anyone who's listening about the process that we're following. We had 2 responses to the RFP, and I had appointed an ad hoc Country Club of Woodbridge committee. Andy is one of the 7 members, to review the responses to the RFP and to review it in executive session. Responses to RFPs enjoy an exemption from the Freedom of Information Act if the first selectman determines that for a certain period of time, the interest in confidentiality outweighs the interest in public disclosure. And it's recognized in the Freedom of Information Act that can be until the contract is executed or negotiations are completed. And it recognizes that the town is in a stronger position if the bidders are not aware of each other, if there's not pressure on the people who are talking about this. So it's a common practice, and here in Woodbridge, when it's involved the purchase and sale of land, I understand the practice has always been to review the responses in executive session. So that's what's been happening, and the ad hoc committee is going to present its findings and its recommendations to the Board of Selectmen at a special meeting on December 3rd. That will continue to be an executive session. The Board of Selectmen has the responses to the RFPs now, so they can be reviewing them and preparing for that meeting. And as we develop, as things move along, I will continue to make the judgment call between, when it's the right time for public disclosure. But I think it's very important for people to understand there is nothing secret about this. It's a temporary period of confidentiality to best protect the interests of the town. And everyone in the town will see all of the materials before called upon to make any kind of decision, if it even comes to that. If the Board of Selectmen decides there's something to bring to a town vote, ultimately, this is up to town residents. And they will decide, and they will have the benefit of all materials and public disclosure. I think that there's some people are feeling impatient about this process, but this is such a big issue for the town and a very controversial one. And I think it's really important for us to carefully look at and weigh the options and not be pressured to do things that are really not in the best interests of Woodbridge residents in the end. Also, at the meeting, it was alleged that by Selectman Dye, and then in a subsequent posting, I understand there's something called Conserve Woodbridge, that alleged that one of the executive sessions was inappropriate because there was not a quorum at the meeting to go into executive session. However, the freedom of, they're absolutely wrong about that. The meeting was duly noticed, and there does not need to be a quorum to go into executive session. So I think it's very important for people to understand that there is a very thoughtful and deliberative process in place to deal with an issue of great importance to the town. So I just wanted to let you all know that. Thank you. A couple of other things. It was a busy month. On October 11th, we had, that was Woodbridge Day with the road race, and I don't know if you all know, people turned out, it was pouring rain, but we had a great turnout for the race, and very, very good spirit for people who did that. The other two events on October 11th were postponed to the next day because of the weather. One was the Scarecrow Festival down at Bradley Road. It was a very well-planned and lively event, not as well attended as it would have been, but I know the merchants are already planning for next year. And Massaro Farm had its family fun day and still had excellent turnout on Sunday. It was a beautiful day that Sunday. You probably also know that Grimaldi's Pizza opened, and instead of a ceremonial ribbon cutting, we had a ceremonial pizza cutting. It was quite good, and it's really adds to our growing restaurants hub, and we just have terrific places to eat now in town. I've been meeting with Frank DeLeo and Stephanie Charleglio about the West River project. We're working with New Haven and all the way up from the Sound all the way up the river to improve the health of the river and that whole sort of a greenway waterway. I attended the Halloween Hoot at Beecher Road School, which no matter how old you are, whether you have children or not, it's unbelievable. What the parents put together from Friday afternoon to Saturday morning is just great, and I think they enjoy it as much as the kids do. I've been meeting with the DOT reps, I mentioned that, about Exit 59. The commissioner has been very helpful and very accommodating, and they really do seem to be paying attention to it. So I don't think we'll have dramatic results, but we should be able to have some alleviation of the problem over not too long a time. I don't know if we talked here, I think we did, about the situation at the ball fields.
Yes.
We've been meeting with Adam, Tony and I met with Adam, and we've hired a consultant. The Recreation Commission felt very strongly that it would be helpful to have a second opinion and to be sure that there was nothing we needed to do before the spring to maintain the fields. So we've hired someone, he has confirmed that. And so we're in good shape now, and the Board of Selectmen will be reviewing the policy with input from the expert. Let's see. I was at Truck or Treat at the firehouse on Halloween. They estimate that there were over 2,000 people who came.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they probably can judge by the number of hot dogs and hamburgers.
No wonder no one picked it right now.
Not one person came to my house.
Well, it's a very,
But it's probably safer that way.
Yeah.
It's a good place, nice place to
So
have.
my wife buys candy for 300 people. So, every year. On a good year, we have 6 people.
I
But
was seriously
Right, then-
considering some today.
then you have the leftover candy. But it is terrific. It's safe for the children. Everybody has a good time. That was a wonderful event. Many of you may know Dominic Thomas, who lives here in town. He's an attorney in the Valley. He was awarded the Platinum Award by the Valley Chamber of Commerce for volunteer and humanitarian service. We sent a recognition to him. It's a big award in the Valley and very well deserved. Veterans Day, there was an event at Beecher Road School. Now that school is open, so the children can have a day of learning about what Veterans Day means. And we had a terrific event here. in front of Center School. Barry Joseph has taken over from Joe Hellauer, and he does a wonderful job. It's a very, very nice ceremony. And I think that just about brings me up to date. Thank you.
And I'm assuming that, as we're talking about the snow, that Public Works trucks will be undercover this
They
year?
are, actually, they were, last Friday, I think, it was their first time in the garage.
Nice.
They're in.
Yeah, they're in, yeah.
That's a big, and the grand opening understands me in the spring, maybe?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Now we thought we should wait.
But they will be functioning out of the.
yes, out of the garage, yep.
Which is a very big improvement for those people, so.
Great.
Okay, liaison reports. I was unable to attend the Amity meeting because I was under the weather, but I reviewed all the paperwork, and things are pretty much status quo. There's still a surplus, and the medical claims came in a little bit higher, but there's still a surplus there too. Amity just keeps moving on. I think Chip was at your meeting,
Yes.
and to discuss some stuff, and how did he put it about the blue ribbon? He just jumped on something about
He said something like he jumped on a speeding train or something.
Right.
Right, because we complimented him for getting a Blue Ribbon Award and only being on the job for 3 months.
Yeah, right. So-
He did a terrific, he was wonderful. He really did a very good job bringing us up to speed.
Yeah, so things are going good in Amity. You know if there wasn't, so. Okay, Mike, anything?
Fire Commission meeting was on October 20th. They moved the time of the meeting and I was unable to attend.
Okay. Karen?
And I was unable to attend Human Services, but we did have an EMS meeting this Monday. And basically, we reviewed most of the performance reports of AMR, and they continue to be having incredible results. I mean, responding to all the calls. There were a significant amount of calls, and they are always so well above the standards set. They did have, just on this fall prevention, they teamed up with the Human Services Department, and AMR teamed up with VNA. And they had a program on October 21st. There were 55 residents that took part. And AMR, as part of their working with the VNA, went through some training. And they are taking appointments through Human Services to do some visits into the homes of any residents. The falls still are far and away the largest amount of calls that the ambulance responds to. It's a staggering amount.
Sir?
We had a very long public comment session at the police commission meeting. And I think the same woman showed up at the selectmen meeting. And I think that though her comments, I think there is some misunderstanding what our budget process is, like what we go through. And that's, why did they buy cars and how that, and are they, and I think that she felt that they tried to move the meeting along. It's not that they were not interested in listening to her, but it really wasn't the forum, and that they would respond to her questions. And the questions, it was all budgetary, which is the process where we try to explain what we're going through now. So it's not like they determine what they want. Every department makes recommendations, and then we move on, and it's finally approved by the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance. So, and then then it was budgetary, their budget, and I guess the continuing item on their budget is overtime.
Correct.
I mean, so other than that, they're running within budget. Their overtime continues to be an issue, and that issue is because they still have 2 people out on workman's comp.
Correct, yeah.
And whatever the portion of road work they are now doing, so that contributes to the overtime issue. The only other comment there is that we had another bank robbery. That poor bank, it seems to be it's getting once a week or something.
TD Bank, wasn't it?
And they've noticed there's been a few break-ins, and that everybody should be very diligent. Lock your doors, turn your alarms on, because there are a lot of people out there. When things get tough, people, do stupid things. So, and that was basically it for the meeting.
Thank you, sir. Anything, David?
Wasn't able to get to the rec commission meeting.
Okay, Sandra?
The Woodbridge Library Commission met on Monday, November 10th, And one of the big issues for them has to do with lighting for the parking lot. And I promised to bring this forward. They really would like to see something happen with improving the lighting on the side parking lot. And I guess there's a difference of opinion of what type of lighting they actually need, how much it's going to cost. And I think we need to try to get to the bottom of this and see what we can really do. I don't know whether the issue is that the types of lights that we already have, like in front of Center School, that go from here over to the main building, if those can be replicated over in the parking lot. It is really dark. There are a couple of steps, and it's their perspective is it's an accident waiting to happen, and especially once it's winter, it's icy.
When you say the side parking lot, you mean where the old
One near the
library?
firehouse.
Yes, the one near the firehouse.
Yeah.
There are no lights there,
Oh.
and that's a problem. So I don't know, Tony, if that's something that you could look into.
I could, sure, yeah. I do recall a project to install a light in that area.
Right.
But I don't know the status of that project.
Right.
And how,
So
how
if you
we're
could
doing.
find out.
Yeah.
I guess they've been working with Brad, and
I know we've done some work on that. I'm just not sure where it is.
Wouldn't take much to get a light on
No.
that building to light that whole area up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
And there's the issue
like
though
the whole
about the
lot.
light has to go, focusing down. It can't go out in terms of radiant light. So
Right.
if you could
I
help
will,
resolve
yeah.
that would be great.
Shouldn't be any problem.
They also reported that the oil tanks were removed from the library lawn, and everything is fine with that. There are some parking issues that they're running into on Mondays and Tuesdays, because the senior center now has bridge and lunch at that period of time, and there have been library patrons who have come and haven't been able to find a place to park. So that might be another issue to ask about, Tony.
Okay.
In terms of maybe moving the transit vans someplace else to create a few more spaces in that area. They have had 19 applications for the library director position. They're looking at 6. There are 2, people who have kind of risen to the top, but neither of them are considered to be superstars. So they're going to proceed with, hopefully even a Skype interview so that they can get a sense of these individuals. But it's going to be hard to replace Todd.
Yeah.
So there was also a question about a group
Karen,
wanting.
just so you know, we said that about Diane too.
Yeah, right.
Never know.
Do you have a brother? No, a sister, someone who's interested in the library, your wife,
You never know. Till they get on the job.
Right. But it may take longer than what we had originally anticipated. So, just so everybody is aware. There was an issue about a group wanting to hold a fundraiser in the community room. And the issue is that hasn't really been allowed before. And I think in the end, they voted not to go ahead and do that. But I think, maybe there needs to be some examination of when do we allow community space to be used for those purposes? Not just the library, but even the town. So if someone wanted to rent out the gym or wanted to use the gym for a fundraiser, would we allow that? Or other rooms in the center building? So I don't know, but that might be something that you either discuss with Jeanette or with Lynn.
I wonder if that should be a townwide policy
Yeah.
rather than
Then
building by
just the
building.
library, right.
Yeah.
That's
That
what I would
sounds-
think, that's what I would push for. So, looking at that would be helpful. Okay, the Board of Ed Finance Committee for Beecher also met that same Monday. And they are anticipating good-sized electricity savings of around $12,000 this year compared to their budget. And there are no children currently enrolled in Wintergreen, so they've kind of removed that from their budget. So that also resulted in somewhat of a surplus. Sorry, let's me turn it off. Sorry. And however, there have been an increase in expenditures in special education. So while they're still running a surplus, their projection is about 28,000. It's a little less than what it was last month, and it's something that we'll just have to pay attention to. I mean, their commitment is to try to fund whatever they can from their budget, but it's an area that we need to look out for. They are in the process of trying to put together their budget, they're starting with their zero-based budgeting, and they kind of know that, you know, the town is looking for as low an increase as possible. It is the teacher salary bargaining year, so we have to really pay attention to that and what impact that might have. And there is some increased cost of preventive maintenance associated with the building project. So that will have to be incorporated into their budget as well. And that is really it.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? I move adjournment.
Second.
Oh, everybody was ready. All those in favor?
Hi.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.